Well, welcome back. We are continuing right along in our Enneagram series, and this week we're going to be taking a look at Enneagram Type 8, also known as the Challenger. So let's see it in action.
You don't know me. You have no idea who I am. I don't even know who I am.
You are Carol Danvers. You were the woman on that black box risking her life to do the right thing. My best friend, who supported me as a mother and a pilot when no one else did. And you were the most powerful person I knew, way before you could shoot fire from your fists.
You guys take care of him, and I'll bring a Bazorian elixir when I come back.
Where are you going?
To kill Thanos. Hey.
You know, we usually work as a team here, and between you and I, morale's a little fragile.
So as we look at those clips and as we look at the 8 in action, or the Challenger, as the 8 is often called, we see these descriptions. They are so frequently strong and self-confident. They're energetic and willful. They are certainly dominant and often confrontational. So I'll ask you all, how did you see kind of those descriptions in our video?
Yeah, so I think what stood out to me was the strength. And even in that first clip, her friend is affirming her strength before she even had her superpower. Like, that was so much a part of who she was at her core.
Yeah, and the thing that struck out to me was that she is energy, not just energetic, but she is energy as she's tearing the spaceship apart, which also demonstrates dominance and strength and power and all of those things put together. That certainly stands out to me.
Absolutely. And I love this dominant willfulness as, you know, she's walking out of the room and they're like, where are you going? And she's like, I'm off to kill Thanos. And at that point, you know, they're like, wait, but we generally work as a team, and I don't really think she cared very much. She knew where she was off to and what she was about to do.
Yeah, and behind all of this strength for the 8s, we got to really peel back the layers and understand their motivations. Because, yeah, they want to be strong, certainly, but really that's out there to protect themselves. Like, they really are concerned about having control over life, over situations, over people, over things, all of it, because really underneath there's a fear of being hurt, or those that they care about being hurt. So they want to protect.
And in all of these motivations, we really kind of see these core fears that often come out in the 8, which is being weak or powerless or vulnerable, being manipulated, or suffering injustice. These are definitely not experiences that the 8s are comfortable being in. Not that any of us are, but for them, really kind of a fear.
Mm-hmm. And when those things are exposed and the 8 feels under attack, then you see the unhealthy characteristics come out. So they're overly aggressive and intimidating, like they have something to prove. There's very much an ego in the room. They can be dualistic thinkers, so this idea of black and white, it's right or wrong, people are good or bad. They're really controlling, can be kind of possessive, even impatient. So it's more task-oriented than it is people-oriented at that point. They're suspicious and slow to trust others, and even to the point of being vengeful.
Absolutely. And because there's so much fear of being hurt, unfortunately, in their effort to protect themselves, 8s can sometimes just roll over other people and do exactly to others what they're so afraid is going to happen to them, that they're going to be taken advantage of, that their weakness will be exposed, and they just can plow through people and really leave a wake of pain in the process.
Yeah. And it's interesting that so often they don't necessarily even recognize or realize that this is kind of the way that they're behaving, or that they're making folks feel that way. You know, for them, this confrontation, this aggressive conversation back and forth is really just communication to them. You know.
Right, and they're truth tellers, and
Right.
so they're so convinced that what they have to share is valuable and important and the other person needs to hear, but sometimes their delivery makes it hard for that other person to receive what it is that they want to share.
Well, because everything the 8 does is high intensity. That and some of that's really connected to their core sin. And the sin that the 8 struggle with the most is actually lust. And we often think about that in terms of a sexual context, but that's not really what it's getting at here for the challenger. This is really talking about this excessive desire, particularly a desire for control, a desire for power, a desire even just to have the intensity of life. So they just will ratchet up the situation just to experience more intensity, more energy.
Yeah, I had read a quote that 8s don't necessarily have a dimmer switch. This is, it's just, with that intensity, it's just, they just crave it and live into it often.
Yeah, they go 0 to 10 is how the students would describe that. Or 0 to murder when we see the world domination in that last clip.
Well, and as we talk about the core sin, that brings us to the good news. The good news for 8s, which is that Jesus was betrayed so that they can be sure that they will never be betrayed by God, who loves them, who created them, who sent Jesus to save them. And this is really just what 8s, all of us for sure, but specifically 8s, when they grab onto this, it can make a difference in their day-to-day behavior and the way they live their lives.
Absolutely. It's not, they no longer have to feel so compelled to protect themselves, and so need to assert their dominance, their power, their strength. They're always going to be strong because that's just part of the internal makeup, but they don't need to use their strength any longer to protect themselves. They can allow their weakness to come through, their weakness before God, and they can use then the strength He's given them for the sake of others. But it's really because Jesus stepped into their place, that He took on ultimately the suffering and the pain and all the things that they're afraid of, and He took it so they don't have to.
And when there is this victory over the sin of lust and a security in your identity in Christ, the way that He is uniquely wired and designed you as an 8, as a challenger, then there's freedom to live into those healthy characteristics. So the 8 is a champion and a leader for justice. That truth-telling will go far. They're courageous. They're the ones that are going to stand in the gap. They use that strength and power that you were talking about appropriately to benefit others. And they collaborate and they value others' input, and they understand that value of vulnerability. There's a tenderness to the 8 that if you get the privilege to see, really is a gift.
Absolutely, that's what's being protected. There really is a beautiful, tender heart inside the 8 that often has been hurt. And so when you're right, when we get to see it, it's a beautiful thing to see, but it really only is visible when they feel that confidence and that security, particularly a security rooted in Christ.
Yeah, because then you get to be both soft and strong.
That's right.
Well, we hope that this look at the 8s will aid in your conversation. 8s, we love you, and we want you to be able to live in the security of the gospel and be able to be both strong and for us to all be able to see your soft side as well. So we hope that this helps your conversations.